In the next few problems, we're going to do some applications of percentages. So here we see Char's haircut was $52 and she wanted to give a 15% tip. What was the amount of the tip and the total amount? So we actually want to find two things here. We want to find the amount of the tip, and then once we find that, we want to find the total amount that she paid for this haircut. So these problems can be broken down into either using the percent, just straightforward percent equation, or the proportion, or it can be a percent change. Well, in this case, it's actually both, but we'll work through that. So really, we're really just wanting to find what 15% of 52 is. And so if we can break down the question that we're asked or given the problem and write it as a simple sentence, we could write what percent of 52, sorry, we know what percent we have. 15% of 52 is what number? That's really what we're trying to find. And so if you can take a word problem and write it as a simpler sentence like this, you can easily figure it out using your percent equation or the percent formula. So I'll go ahead and use the percent equation. We know that percent times whole equals part. And this one, by reading through it this way, we know that we have our percent, so that's 0.15. The whole, it's of $52. That's how much the price was, the cost of the haircut. And we want to find the part. What part of that are we giving a tip? How much is the tip going to be? So that equals our part. And we can go ahead and multiply and figure out what that part is. And actually, so I'm going to write tip here because we're realizing that the part is the tip. So I want to multiply 0.15 times 52, and we get 7.8. Well, what does that mean, 7.8? Well, this is a dollar amount, so the tip is $7.80. So that answers the first part. I answered how much the tip was. I also asked, what's the total amount? Well, now that you know what the tip is, we can take, I don't know why I just did that. We can take our original $52, the price of the haircut, plus the tip, which was $7.80, add those things up. Those are zeros, not sixes, and we get $65.80. And that was the total amount. So I'm glad I can get nice, cheap haircuts. Next one, the commission rate at the local car dealership is 3%. How much would one have to sell to earn $1,200? Now, I know we had a question similar to this before, and some of you struggled with the wording of it, but this is how it would be asked. How much would one have to sell? It's really, they're not asking how many cars, because we really wouldn't know how many cars or how much pieces of furniture if it was that type of dealership. So you realize how much money's worth would one have to sell to earn that amount. So commission rate is 3%. And so let's think through this, see if we can write a sentence. We want to know, what's this 1,200? Is that our whole or is that the part? And we want 3% of something to give us that $1,200, or give this person that $1,200. So really we want to think 3% of what number. That's what we're looking for. What how much money, how much do we have to sell of what number is $1,200? And so we want to find how much needs to be sold. So let's go ahead, switch it up. We'll change to doing the percent proportion. And so we want part. So the part that's being made is 1,200, and 1,200 out of how much is sold, so over x equals this 3 over 100. We can cross multiply to solve this, so we get 3x equals 120,000. and go ahead and divide by 3. And we get 40,000. So they have to sell $40,000 worth of cars. So maybe that's one nice new car, or maybe that's several used cars, but that salesperson has to sell $40,000 worth of merchandise. The next one talks about cost and markup. So if you remember, cost is how much the store buys it for, and then they mark it up a certain percentage and sell it to the customer. So what's the amount of the markup and what's the new price? So it's a bike that the store buys for $35. So Walmart's able to get this bike from some manufacturer for $35 and they mark it up 75%. So we want to find two things. We want to find the markup and then the new price. So really what we're asking, 75%, it's a 75% markup. So we want to find 75% of 35, 75% of $35 is what? And that will give us our markup. And so we know that percent times the whole, that's our 35, that's our original amount, so times 35 is what number, or is equal to our markup in this case. And we can go ahead and multiply 35 times 0.75, so we have 0.75 times 35 is equal to 2625 as our markup. I think I read that wrong. That was, nope, 2625. So the markup is $26.25, which is 75% of the $35, and then we want the new price. Well, the new price, if you think through that, that's going to be the cost, what they bought it for, plus the markup. And so adding those together, get a total of $61.25. And so that's how that works. So you want to find the markup first by just doing a simple percentage problem, and then once you find your markup, you can add it to the original to see what the total cost will be. If the cost of an item is $2.40 and the selling price is $6, what was the markup rate? So this time we know what the cost was, and we want to find the markup rate. So this really is, you're thinking, what percent, we want to find the percentage here, so what percent of the cost, or of the original, so of 240 is $6. Well, just thinking through this, we know it's going to be over 100% because it's cost 240 and they're selling for more than twice that much. So that's just a quick check for us when we get to our answer. So what percent, so that's going to be X, so percent times whole, that was our 240, is equal to the part, which is $6, and we don't really need the decimal there. So we would divide both sides by 2.4. And we can go ahead and do 6 divided by 2.4, and we get 2.5, so X is 2.5, which means that the markup, so this is a percentage, it was a 250% markup.